So I wanted to give you guys an update on a story that we've touched on a few times before, but Vice News is reporting that people keep overdosing on synthetic marijuana. This story is specifically about New Haven, Connecticut, and K2 is the specific brand that this is happening with. But what's been happening is, so they have this substance, synthetic marijuana, and then the government will try to act on it and ban it, but then they just change one or two ingredients in the synthetic marijuana, and all of a sudden it becomes legal again, and then it's a game of cat and mouse where they keep trying to move the goalposts. They change the law, and then, okay, they change what's illegal, and then they change the substance, and then they change what's illegal. And what's happening is, all this shit is making people fucking have seizures and shit, and overdose, and it's poisoning people. And I think on some of them, according to a previous story we covered, there's like rat poison in there, whatever. So this synthetic shit is genuinely, something to worry about. It's a real problem. It's a real issue. And I think probably the most important angle of this story is, if only there was some sort of theoretical answer about how if there was a substance that we could allow that gives people the high that they're looking for without the dangers. If only we lived in a world where that option was on the table, where like there could be this stuff, starts with an M and rhymes with Marijüana, where they could, have that be legal, and then people would stop overdosing and dying. Actually, to be fair, I don't know how many people died, but there's been plenty of overdoses, and people would stop having seizures and dropping down in the middle of the street. If only we had a substance that would cut that down and eliminate that. Isn't it crazy that we know what the answer is, but we're not actually doing it and fixing it? It's like we live in a shitty movie that's kind of like a tragic comedy, where it's like, oh shit, people keep overdosing and having seizures by smoking this synthetic marijuana. But like, nobody's connecting the dots and saying, well, why don't we just legalize marijuana at the federal level for recreational purposes, and then people will have that instead of the synthetic garbage, and then they'll be fine. Over 60% of Americans want to do that now, by the way. They want to legalize marijuana for recreational reasons. So this is yet another example. This gets back to the idea I expressed a few shows ago where I spoke about I'm warming to the idea of a constitutional direct democracy. So you have rights that are off the table, that's the Constitution. But then outside of that, you have direct democracy, where people, we all get to determine our own future. And we can vote on the biggest issues of, I said, imagine every year you voted on the five biggest issues directly. And then whatever we decide, that's what gets implemented. We'd already have legal marijuana if that was the case. But we don't. And we have people overdosing from synthetic bullshit weed that wouldn't exist if you had legal recreational marijuana at a federal level in this country.